Hi everyone and welcome to my podcast. So this is going to be an exciting journey and I feel it'll be a really exciting journey, and it's something that I really wanted to do for a long time, and I suppose I just didn't really have the space or the time to create it. Whereas now, on that podcast journey, healing through and after trauma, I really loved giving the information about the stressors and everything, which we still will be talking about all the time, and bringing that awareness to people. But I really, I suppose everything that I've done, throughout my 10 years, nearly 10 years now, in the holistic business, in my own journey, to creating those changes, I've seen so many transformations. I've seen so many transformations, and I just feel that, and it's like me, if I had, stories, and I had inspirational people as well, that I would have seen their story when I was, creating these changes, and I seen their stories, and I'm thinking, oh my God, that's powerful, that's amazing, and I would love to do that. And then all of those things, so any changes that I made, it was again either looking at somebody through an inspiration, either taking some of their tools that they've used, and put them into practice to create changes in my own life. So I'm really passionate, about this podcast, because I know through my own traumas of losing my brother through suicide, and my own 2 suicide attempts, and being in that space, just being in that space of not wanting to be here, being in that space of, really not knowing where to go, what to do, plodding along, I could probably say, really for me, every day was, a fight. Every day was kind of like, getting up in that mundane energy. Now, would I have known it was mundane at the time? Probably not. And it's only when you look back, when those changes have happened, and you look back and you say, God, I was really pulling up from my socks every day, to get out of that bed, to make a day, to make the day good, and whatever level that was. And of course then, we're so hard on ourselves, and it's like, from the outside world, and even from our own world, you have your marriage, you have children, and there's that part of you inside that says, I have all of these things, but there's just something missing. There's just something missing. I just can't. I can pull up from my socks, from my children, from my spouse, from my family, but there's just an emptiness inside. And it's not until we start doing this work, it's not until we start working on ourselves and looking inside of ourselves, and starting to create those changes that I know, because I've been there, and I've created those changes, that it gives us that confidence, and it really gives us that confidence to keep moving forward and to believe. And really for me, for these podcasts, because I have worked with so many people, and a lot of them will be probably people who I have done energy with. Some of them are going to be my friends, that I've met along the way, who I have seen them change, and they have seen me change and create and evolve. So it's going to be really special for me. But I do believe anybody who's going to be watching it, even if there's one tool, if there's one piece of information, one piece of inspired action that you take from these podcasts, when you're listening to people who have healed through trauma, or who are still in the midst of trauma, who are still kind of like working through it. And that's why we say, for me, I was like, oh, when I heal, I'll be able to do this. When I heal, I'm very much aware now that, I'm constantly working through my stuff all the time. I'm open, for that change. I'm open again, whatever comes up, I'm open to look at it now. But at the time, way back when, it was always that thing of, oh, I'll do this now when I, when I heal, when I get better. We do the stuff now. We do the stuff in the midst, because we will never get to that next step unless we take this first step. We will never get to that, oh, if I only lose weight, I'll do it. Oh my God, if I only have confidence, I'll do it. All of these things. I know, I've been there, every single one of them. We will talk about pathological emotions. We will talk about how they're held in the body. We will talk about emotional releases. We will talk about, again, what people used on their journey and to create that change. And nobody's going to come on these podcasts and say, I'm totally healed, I'm not even going to come on these podcasts and say, you know, that I'm totally healed, because I'm a work in progress, and everybody is. And every time we meet, we reach another level of, you know, heightened awareness. Every time we reach another level of maybe raising our vibration and our energy, we have to look at that. We have to look at that. We might find resistance in that. You know, we might find growth in that. And that's really what I want for people. I want people with these podcasts, and they'll only be probably 20-30 minutes if I can keep them to that, with all the chatting. You know, but they're going to be inspirational. They're just going to be inspirational stories of real life people, you know. And that was one of the things for me, you know, because I would follow a lot of people at the time on Facebook. Instagram wasn't huge back then. But I would follow all of these people, Oprah and all of Tony Robbins and all of these people who had made it, and I'm thinking, oh my God, but it's okay for them, you know, until I started looking at actually the real people, the people who were around us, the people who were changing every day, the people who were striving to be better every day, even in their midst of chaos, even in their midst of trauma. And I suppose, look, for me, you know, I went on that journey for a long time, and I believe that I was on that journey for a long time, you know, of being depressed, of being, you know, again, in and out of depression, to have that emptiness, and not understanding what that emptiness was, because when I looked in my environment, I just seemed to have everything. And, you know, if you have everything, you have beautiful kids, you know, you have a spouse, you have your children, you have all of, you know, you have a job that, you know, you enjoy, and you enjoy the people. You mightn't love the job, but you enjoy the people, but yet there's that emptiness. You know, so what do? You know, of course you internalize, because you think, oh God, it must be me. But then, you know, so all of that for me, you know, I had to look at all of that and create those changes. So this is where I kind of go with, for me, I believe that I had to go on that journey. And I'm not saying that I wasn't supported on it. I completely was. You know, Chris was, you know, Chris Kilkelly here in Athenry, you know, she saved my life, and I always say that, you know, she was the first person who did energy work on me. When I came out away from her, I couldn't stop smiling. There was just, it was like she filled a void. That's exactly the only thing I can say. It was like she filled, you know, this void that was in me with love, with unconditional love. And, you know, and actually I will bring her on the podcast for sure, because I believe everybody needs to meet her. Just such a beautiful person, and I believe she's seen something in me. And she gave me, you know, so there's probably a lot of emotion in these podcasts, but I do believe that, you know, she's seen something in me. She gave me that love, she gave me that belief back in myself, you know. But I did go a long time on that journey with no awareness, you know, felt I was on my own, and of course everybody was there around me, but, you know, if we're all coming from the same environment and none of us know how to move forward, then we're all stuck. So we just need one person to lift. And some people I know who are on a spiritual path might find, you know, spirituality, or again awareness, or, you know, change quite tough, quite lonely. It is, but this is why, you know, for me, you know, having these podcasts, having these, you know, connections, I believe that you don't have to do it on your own. So anybody who's going to be listening to these podcasts, anybody who's going to, you know, be listening to these people's inspiring stories, you don't have to do it alone anymore. You know, you're on this journey now. We can all go together. You can take the snippets. People can, you know, contact, you know, you can communicate and everything with the people and their stories. And remember, we're all going to resonate with people in different stories. Not all of us are going to be going through the same thing. And that's okay, because again, we've all come from different environments. We've all emotionally regulated ourselves in different ways. And we'll talk a lot about that as well, about, you know, how the child emotionally regulates and how it's shown up in our lives right now. And what can we do to make the changes? And I think that's going to be the most powerful part of this, that, you know, I had to go that journey, and it was a tough journey. But I believe that, like, you know, now looking back in it, I believe that I had to go on that journey. But you don't have to go it alone, because there's so much awareness, there's so much out there, there is so much help. that we can get, and that we can do ourselves as well, or again, having that connection. So really, really excited about it. I'm going to start next week, so I'm going to get the first person on this week, and just do the video and stuff like that and get it edited, and just talk about the journey. And I want to put it out there as well. I want to put it out there, if you want to tell your story, and it doesn't have to be like, that you're, as I said, nobody who comes on is going to be healed. Nobody, people will have, transitioned in their journey. They will be moving forward in their journey. They, again, but healing, talk about healing, healing, meditation, hypnotherapy, EFT, journaling, all of these things, anything that creates change is a forever tool. Like, I have to do these things every day. If something comes up in my life, I have to go and create those changes. If something is showing up and it's not serving me, then I'm going to have to use my toolbox. And that's what I want everybody to get out of these. I want people to listen to people's stories. I want them to take the tools that they used, go and see whatever suit, like, some things aren't going to work for some people. People will be talking about counselling, people will be talking about psychotherapists, people will be talking about hypnotherapy, people will be talking about journaling, people will be talking about just changing their diets, and people will be talking about oxidative stress and what they did to release that stress. So there's so much, everybody's going to have something different. So just listen to them. You don't have to take everything on, because everything's not going to work for everyone. Counselling did not work for me. It just didn't work for me, because I wanted to get out there at the time, the time that I was in it. I just didn't want to be there. I didn't want to talk about it. I just wanted to get out. So it didn't work for me. But energy worked for me. Meditation worked for me. Hypnotherapy works for me on every level now. Anything now that comes up in my life that I want to release, I go into the hypnotherapy side of things. So, but everybody will have, and that's what I want, at the end of, whatever the season is, if we will do a full season anyways, but that's what I want. I want you to go away at the end of the season of this podcast with a toolbox of, whatever comes up in my life, awareness as well around, whatever's happening in my life, you'll have a bit of awareness around it, and this is something that I can try. And I have tried absolutely everything. I shouldn't say everything either, but I have tried so many things. Some things worked, some things didn't. But the things that did work are the things that I use now still, every day. Every single day, if I need them, then I will use them. So, very, very excited to get a kick started. We'll see how we go. If we can get it weekly, we will. It just depends on people's schedules, because I know people are busy right now. But as I said, if you would like to share your story, as I say, you don't have to have, created massive changes, that you've got a business and you've got all of this. But if you feel, that you want to share your story, that your story is going to help somebody else in some way, shape or form, then absolutely reach out to me. Absolutely, reach out to me, and we can definitely get that done. So I invite everybody to come on this journey with us. Looking forward to everybody, watching and listening in, and that's what I'm saying. The one thing that I want everybody to take away is take the tools that people have used to create the changes, and build your own toolbox. I might even I might get a PDF of, at the end of all the tools, and links to how to get them as well. And it'll be available there for everybody. So just, listen, take on what you need. People are here to share their story. They're not looking for sympathy. They're not looking for any of these things. They're here to empower you with their story. So that's one thing, sometimes the empaths like myself, we would take on and say, oh my God, I feel so sorry for that person. And that's okay, because it's part of an empath, but that's not why they're here. They're here to share their story. They're here to empower you. They're here to inspire you to say, and very much like me, and I say to people all the time, if I can do it, then you can. So it just takes a little bit of time. takes a little bit of awareness, and you can create any changes. Doesn't matter what's going on in your life right now. I can promise you, if you've got a little bit of awareness around it, if you've got some tools to work on while you're in the midst of it and working through it, then you can create those changes. So really looking forward to it, and I will start updating when, probably maybe a Monday and a Tuesday, I'll see, but I'll put it on the YouTube channel anyway, so it's going to be on the YouTube channel, but I'll share it on my page when it's ready every day, or every week, sorry. Or again, I will let you know whether it's weekly or when it's on. So so looking forward for ye, looking forward to the people who are coming on, because really it's going to be, for them, it's going to be massive, to come out and to speak, in front of people about their stories. It's about vulnerability as well, to come and do that to inspire you. So remember, all of these podcasts are for you. They're healing for the person as well, for the people, but they're for you and for your change and for your awareness, to know that, everything is okay, everything can be okay, and everything can change. So really looking forward to it. Have a fantastic evening, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.